What's up guys, it's Oblivious Gamer here, and today I will be talking about Armored Core 6 as IGN had an exclusive interview with Miyazaki, and a lot of new information got revealed and a lot of stuff was also cleared up. I think the first point I want to mention is when Armored Core 6 was announced, a lot of people were speculating and saying, oh, will this be a Soulslike Armored Core? And there was a lot of people running with that story. I mean, I have seen titles like people saying, oh, it's gonna be Armored Souls, or people calling it Mecha Souls, like implying that because of the success the Soulslike genre and the impact it has had from software, then most likely the new Armored Core will be a Souls-like game. I know there was also a leak that came from Resetera that was also claiming the game was going to be more Souls-like. However, Miyazaki in this interview confirmed the game will not be at all a Souls-like game, which I'm personally beyond happy. I don't think I want a Souls-like Armored Core game. It just doesn't feel like it will mesh well, especially if it's like titled Armored Core 6, a follow-up to the previous Armored Core games. Maybe if it was some sort of spin-off, I guess you could change the gameplay, but Armored Core has like a well-defined style, especially if you have played the games, and I really don't want that to be taken away from the game. And I also feel I'm a bit tired with a lot of games wanting to be Souls-like. Now, the interview does go into other details, which I will go over. Now, as always, before I continue, if you like the content, don't forget to subscribe. So let's go over some of the points. As I mentioned earlier, Miyazaki has stated, and this is what he said, "No, we have not been making a conscious effort to try to direct it towards more Soulsborne type gameplay. First of all, let me just be clear. Adding the essential direction of Armored Core 6 was to go back and take a good look at the core concept of Armored Core and what made it special. So we wanted to take the assembly aspect, assembling and customizing your own mech, your AC, and then being able to exact a high level of control over the assembled mech. So we wanted to take those two core concepts and re-examine those in our modern environment. So they are not planning to change the style of the game. It will be a true Armored Core experience, which, as I said earlier, it is a good thing." They also went on to explain that Armored Core will not be an open world game. Instead, it would be a mission structured single player game, which personally I think I'm fine with that. I don't feel every game needs to be an open world game, especially Armored Core. I know Elden Ring had a lot of success with it being open world, and it's also one of the aspects I enjoy a lot of that game, but I think it's fine. But I think trying to scale it for something like Armored Core might be a bit hard and might deviate from what the game is. At the same time, they could have like big sections, but not necessarily something open world, which I will also be fine with that, having like big sections for you to roam around and decide how you will approach and how you will be moving. There's also mention that this story will be a reset. It will be a brand new story with no direct links to the previous games, which I think, in all honesty, that is fine. It's been like 9-10 years since the last Armored Core game. Plus, with games like Elden Ring, Dark Souls, Sekiro, I bet there is a big audience that From Software has gathered because of those games that now might be interested in Armored Core, and they will be like, hey, I want to try the new Armored Core is from Software. For the first timers who are gonna be approaching this game, I think it's fine to have a reset. It will ease a lot of people into the game than trying to follow up the previous Armored Core games, and they might end up just being confused or not really interested, and might also not want them to try the game. It's really hard when you see a game being called Armored Core 6. It's the 6th quote-unquote title, and you might feel like, hey, do I need to play the other ones, or do I need to find out stuff from the other games to be able to play this one? The fact that it's gonna be a reset, anybody will be able to approach it, I think it's a good thing. I know some people might not be happy, but for the game trying to reach a bigger audience, I think it's fine. There was also a mention about multiplayer, not much in depth, but it was confirmed that Armored Core 6 will have a versus mode similar to previous Armored Core titles. You will be able to customize your mech, but they say they will reveal more information about the multiplayer later. It was mentioned that the main focus for them is the single player, which, I mean, it's fine. I don't think we should worry about like them not caring about the multiplayer. I am assuming that from their statement, they're just saying they're taking a bigger focus and like they're trying to put a lot more effort on single player content for the game than what previously Armored Cores have had. And they also go a bit about the difficulty, which if you've played their new Soulslike games and stuff, you probably know that FromSoft has a history with difficulty. And they do say that there will be challenging encounters for Armored Core 6, but there will be some balance to it. And of course, the mission difficulty might vary with how you assemble your mech. So for some mechs, the way that you assemble it might be easier a mission or it might be harder. And in all honesty, it's fine. And I think that's good. I mean, even playing any of their like Dark Souls, Elden Ring, Sekiro games, or a big part of some bosses or some enemies being hard or difficult, it's how you have built your character. So with the fact that you assemble your mech in Armored Core, I feel it's just going to be the same thing. Some weapons, some builds might do a lot better against specific types of bosses than others. I think it's fine. The interview has a lot more points. I just don't go over them because I think they were more nuanced in the sense that like it wasn't the main thing that I wanted to talk about or that like I was interested in. The stuff that I mentioned is mostly stuff that I wanted to highlight because some people were having a lot of questions like, will there be still multiplayer? People having expectations that, oh, this could be a Souls-like Armored Core. What can we expect? Will the single player be open world? So the fact that the answer raised some of the questions, I think it's good, especially for a game that is supposed to come out next year. I feel this puts to ease some of the people's questions and their own theories. So no Souls-like Armored Core, or at least the interview pretty much says it's not gonna be, and it's not how the developers are approaching the game. Multiplayer has been confirmed. It's gonna be mission style structure single player and no open world. The story will be a reset. Through and through, for me, this is fantastic. I feel a lot of stuff here is what I wanted to hear from Software when it comes to the Armored Core franchise. Nothing against Souls-like games. I enjoy them, but when it comes to Armored Core, this is not what I want. I want the true Armored Core experience that I enjoy, that mega action, speeding up, balls to the walls action. That is all that I want. So, in the end, as always, it's not just about me. People have different thoughts and ideas. So, what are your thoughts, guys? Are you disappointed it's not a Souls-like game, or are you happy? I will leave the link for the interview down below if you want to go check it out, some of the stuff. There is some interesting stuff to go over. As always, this has been Oblivious Gamer, and I hope you have a wonderful day or night, wherever you are.